Hi, welcome back to Calico English. I'm Luna, and today we are going to talk about something that I think lives quietly in the back of almost everyone's mind. How do you know if you made the right decision? And I think this question visits all of us more than we admit. Did I choose the right major? Would my life look different if I had studied something else? Did I pick the right job? What if I had chosen that other company? And sometimes it's not even a big thing. Sometimes it's just a small moment, a word you said, a message you didn't send, a turn you took, and somehow that tiny thing still lives in the back of your mind years later. Sound familiar? Here is the first thing I want to tell you. Your brain is not actually very good at making decisions. And that is not an insult, that is just science. Daniel Kahneman, a psychologist who won the Nobel Prize, wrote a book called Thinking Fast and Slow. And in it, he explains that we have two systems in our brain. System 1 is fast, automatic, emotional. It's the part that reacts before you even think. System 2 is slow, logical, careful. It's the part that actually weighs the options. The problem? We make most of our big decisions using System 1, the fast, emotional part. And then we use System 2 to judge ourselves afterward. So we make a choice quickly with our feelings, and then we spend months or years analyzing it slowly with our logic. And of course, it never feels like it adds up because we are using completely different tools. So the next time you think, why did I do that? Remember, you were using the tools you had in that moment, not the tools you have now. Now let's talk about something called hindsight bias. This one is my favorite because once you know about it, you will see it absolutely everywhere. Hindsight bias is the tendency to look back at a past event and think, I knew it all along. Or in the case of a bad decision, I should have known. But here is the truth. You didn't know. Nobody knew. You made the best prediction you could with the information available at the time. And that is all any of us can ever do. Psychologists have studied this extensively. In one classic experiment, people were asked to predict the outcome of an event before it happened, and then asked again after. After the outcome was known, people consistently rated their earlier predictions as more accurate than they actually were. In other words, we rewrite our own memory to make ourselves look like we should have known better, which means the voice in your head that says, you should have seen this coming, is not giving you accurate information. It is just your brain doing its very annoying habit of rewriting history. And then there is the what if trap. Oh, this one? When we don't take a certain path, our brain fills it in for us. And it almost always fills it in with the best possible version. The other job would have been perfect. The other relationship would have been easier. The other city would have felt like home immediately. But that is a fantasy because you never had to live the hard parts of that path. You only imagine the good ones. So you are comparing your full, messy, complicated reality against someone else's highlight reel. Except that someone else is a fictional version of yourself, which is honestly the most unfair comparison possible. Here is something that Kahneman talks about in Thinking Fast and Slow that I find really comforting. He says that we are not as in control of our decisions as we think we are. Our choices are shaped by our mood, our environment, the last thing we ate, the weather, what we read that morning. We are influenced by so many things we are not even aware of. And yet we hold ourselves completely responsible for the outcome, as if we made our choices in a perfectly rational vacuum. You didn't. Nobody does. And knowing that should make you a little gentler with yourself. Now, I am not saying that decisions don't matter. They do. And I'm not saying that you should never reflect on them. Reflection is healthy and useful. But there is a big difference between reflection and rumination. Reflection asks, what can I learn from this? Rumination asks, why am I so terrible? One moves you forward. The other just spins in circles and keeps you up at 2 a.m. So here is a simple question to ask yourself whenever you are spiraling about a past decision. Am I learning something right now? Or am I just being hard on myself? If the answer is the second one, it is okay to gently close that tab in your brain. You don't have to keep it open all the time. And here is the part that I really want you to hear. The meaning of a decision is not fixed at the moment you make it. It grows and changes depending on what you do next. A choice that looked like a mistake can become the thing that taught you the most important lesson of your life. A path that felt wrong at first can slowly become exactly where you were supposed to be. The decision is not the whole story. It is just the beginning of one. There is a concept in psychology called post-traumatic growth. It describes how people who go through difficult experiences, including difficult consequences of their own choices, often come out the other side with a deeper understanding of themselves, stronger relationships, and a greater appreciation for life. Not because the hard thing was good, but because of what they chose to do with it. You are not defined by the decision. You are defined by the story you build after it. So what do you actually do when you are not sure? If you chose right, you give it time, you give it effort. You stop asking, was this right? And start asking, how do I make this meaningful? Because that is the question that actually has an answer you can do something about. And one more thing before we wrap up. Some decisions will never feel fully resolved. Some paths will always make you a little curious. And that is okay. You are human. A little wistfulness is part of the package. But wistfulness is very different from regret. Wistfulness looks back with softness. Regret looks back with blame. Try to choose softness when you can. You made a choice. You did it with the brain and the heart and the information you had at the time. And now you are here, still figuring it out, still showing up, still asking the kinds of questions that mean you actually care about living well. That is not someone who made the wrong decision. That is someone who is paying attention. And that counts for a lot. Thank you so much for listening today. If this helped you feel even a little lighter, I'm really glad. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs to hear it. See you in the next one. Take care.